You check your phone, hundreds of followers, dozens of likes. You project a life that looks put together, but the moment you click the screen dark, the quiet sets in, the heavy physical reality of an empty room. Tomorrow morning, the cycle repeats. You wake up and scroll. You watch your friends travel, your coworkers celebrate milestones, and your acquaintances build their lives. You observe the polished metrics of everyone else's success while sitting still. You end up watching life from behind a sheet of glass. It is exactly like a child staring through the window of an ice cream shop. You can see the connections happening all around you, but you cannot actually touch them. When you step away from the screen and walk into the office, the interactions stay on the surface. People ask how you are doing, but they expect a quick, polite answer. No one pauses to hear what is actually sitting heavy in your mind. Everyone is rushing, distracted, and halfway looking at their own devices. This modern flavor of loneliness stems from a deficit of being profoundly and unconditionally known. You are surrounded by people, yet completely unseen. If this void feels structural rather than accidental, we have to look at how humans were put together. Ancient theological texts describe a state where we are integrated into a primary relationship with a creator, a connection that precedes any social grouping or digital network. When we try to fill that specific, infinite vacancy with transactional digital interactions, likes, follows, and brief messages, the math never adds up. These superficial metrics cannot satisfy a requirement for deep existential relation. Thousands of years ago, on his final night with his disciples in Jerusalem, Jesus addressed this exact fear of ultimate isolation. In John chapter 14, verse 18, he says, "I will not leave you as orphans, I will come to you." An orphan is severed from their origin source, left without an anchor. He framed this as a permanent cure, promising a presence transcending physical proximity. If that divine relationship is active and acknowledged, the very structure of your life changes. Absolute isolation becomes impossible. Matthew 28:20 states, "I am with you always." The original text points to all days, covering the days you fail, despair, and when your social visibility drops to zero. This promise extends to the very end of the age, an enduring vow independent of performance. The book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 5, uses the absolute term never, stating he will never leave or forsake you. This stands in sharp contrast to modern social favor, which disappears the moment you stop providing value or entertainment. This diagram compares two entirely different systems of value. The volatile lines represent the economy of attention, where your worth is transactional and must be earned through constant output. The solid line represents worth that is inherent, stable, and granted directly by the Creator. Much of the exhaustion we feel comes from trying to substitute a permanent inherent anchor with these fluctuating transactional metrics. This persistent feeling of isolation functions as a biological and spiritual signal. It indicates a missing vital connection, suggesting that the human heart requires something that no digital crowd can provide. In prayer, you encounter a form of listening that is entirely non-transactional. You can speak without the need to curate your words or prove your value to a creator who already knows you entirely. Human relationships are often fragile. Friends drift, and family members can fail to understand our deepest struggles. We require the reliability of a promised divine presence that remains steady when these human systems fail. You can investigate this for yourself. Open the Gospel of John, chapter 14, and read it as a manual for your own design. Look at what it says about why you were made and how you are meant to be known. True loneliness is living in exile from your Creator. To start the conversation and end that isolation, click the links in the description below. We are here to listen.